And that she won't allow that to happen. But we'll see what the fight is when it gets going. But they have pushed.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are quaking in their boots as Prince William fires a new warning shot.
Middleton makes a jaw-dropping entrance at a state dinner, rocking the biggest tiara she's ever worn.
7:48 in the morning. That's the exact moment the royal world froze. Prince William did something no one thought he ever would. He signed his name to a statement so sharp, so final, that even the palace insiders had to read it twice to believe it. 19 words, just 19, but those 19 words were enough to shake the monarchy to its core.
Prince Harry is attempting to bully King Charles into a meeting.
The future relationship between the Crown and the Duchess of Sussex has been conclusively determined. There will be no pathway for return. And that line, no pathway for return, hit like thunder. It wasn't a spokesperson, it wasn't sources, it was William himself, the future king, speaking in his own voice.
And it marks the third tiara moment she's had in 2025. Most recently, the Princess of Wales
No polite phrasing, no at this time or under current circumstances. It was a door slammed shut, loud enough for the world to hear. Within 3 minutes, BBC broke into regular programming. 15 minutes later, the statement was shared over 200,000 times. In California, where the sky was still dark,
cancer treatment. In January, she announced that she was in remission.
Harry's phone lit up. He didn't even need to open it to know something was wrong, because what he felt inside him was breaking before he even read the words. People started asking, what could have pushed William this far? What made a man who'd stayed silent through every scandal, every whisper, finally explode like this? The answer wasn't simple, and it wasn't pretty.
Are quaking in their boots as Prince William has fired a brand new warning shot.
Because this all started the moment Catherine, the Princess of Wales, finally said, enough is enough. The world didn't just notice William's statement, it stopped for it. BBC anchors read it live twice, their voices cracking mid-sentence. Sky News scrambled for an emergency panel. One veteran correspondent, eyes wide with disbelief, said it straight. This is unprecedented.
To appeal to Harry and Meghan, but I thought this was so crude. So crude. So
he didn't explain why. He didn't have to. Everyone watching knew something irreversible had just happened. Even palace reporters who'd covered divorces, deaths, and royal wars were left speechless. Because this wasn't palace sources. This was William, the future King of England, saying it himself. By the time Sky News went live, one of their royal experts said what everyone else was thinking. William doesn't speak unless the matter is beyond negotiation. This isn't a warning, she said, her voice shaking. This is final. And across the Atlantic, as America slept, phones began to buzz like a storm. CNN's breaking banner read, Prince William confirms no return for Meghan Markle. CBS called it the most definitive royal statement in modern memory. Social media went wild, half the world cheering, the other half in shock. Outside Kensington Palace, reporters stood in the December cold, breath visible in the air. One of them said quietly, you can feel it. This isn't gossip anymore. This is history. And she was right. Because this wasn't a press release stunt or carefully worded PR. This was William. His name, his words, his decision. No currently, no under these circumstances. Just the brutal finality of there will be no pathway for return. Inside palace walls, staff moved in eerie silence. They'd known the statement was coming, but seeing it go live with William's signature on it made it real. One aide described it as watching history unfold from the inside. For people who'd lived through Diana's era, the heartbreaks, the scandals, the reconciliations, this was unthinkable. The monarchy had always believed time healed wounds. Charles had forgiven Camilla. Even the most bitter fallouts eventually softened. But this? William just locked the door, threw away the key, and nailed the frame shut. This wasn't just royal protocol, it was personal. It all started back in September 2024. Catherine was busy launching her projects, children's programs, early years campaigns, the kind of work that gave her purpose. But every time she made an announcement, like clockwork, negative stories appeared within 48 hours. Too perfect a pattern to be coincidence. At first, she brushed it off, but when it happened 10 times in 3 months, all with the same tone. Sources, insiders, conflict, stress. She couldn't ignore it anymore. So one evening, she sat down with William at Kensington Palace and laid it all out. Someone's orchestrating this, she said. Her tone wasn't emotional, it was firm. This isn't random, this is strategic interference. William had suspected something too, but hearing Catherine say it so calmly, with proof in front of him, timelines, dates, screenshots, something hardened inside him. Then came mid-November. William got a briefing from security, routine at first, until they showed him the data. Coordinated online attacks against Catherine, not random hate, organized campaigns. Many trace back to accounts connected with pro-Sussex circles. William sat there, reading through report after report, his expression darkening. When he finally looked up, he asked, "How much of this traces back to Sussex-linked networks?" The answer wasn't pleasant. Enough to confirm a pattern. That was the moment something shifted inside him. Catherine never demanded revenge. She just showed him what was happening. But watching the woman he loved, the mother of his children, being systematically torn down, that did something to him. And while William faced this, Charles was fighting his own battles. It was October 2024. The new king was tired, visibly so. Behind closed doors, he confided in a close aide, "I feel trapped between my love for Harry and my duty to the crown." That sentence said everything. He wanted reconciliation, but reconciliation was costing the monarchy stability. Every time he hoped for peace, another controversy would erupt. Meetings got hijacked. Briefings turned into crisis sessions. The institution was drowning in drama. By late October, Charles looked exhausted. Staff whispered that the strain was aging him faster than the throne ever did. And William saw it all. His father's face, his fatigue, his heartbreak. It was like watching a man being torn between blood and crown. So the pressure built from all sides. Catherine's pain, Charles's turmoil, Anne's quiet disapproval of endless waiting. Everyone knew something had to give. By the end of November, William couldn't avoid the truth anymore. Stability had to come before sentiment. December 1st, Windsor Castle. A cold night, a small study, and a fire that barely warmed the room. This was where it all came to a head. William arrived first, always early, always composed. He carried one folder, the final draft of the statement. He'd edited it dozens of times, each word measured like it could decide history. Charles entered next, looking tired, pale, older than ever. Anne came soon after, the one who'd always believed in drawing hard lines. And then Catherine, calm, graceful, determined. William looked at all of them. "Before we proceed," he said, "understand this. What we decide tonight is permanent. No revisiting it later, no softening it." Charles frowned. Anne stayed still, Catherine's hands folded. William slid the paper forward. They read it in silence. Catherine spoke first. "This will hurt, Harry," she said softly. William nodded. "I know, but continuing like this hurts you, our children, and the institution." Charles's voice trembled. "William, this feels like closing a door that should never be closed." William met his eyes. "Father, that door has been used as a weapon. I'm not closing it out of anger. I'm closing it to stop the bleeding." Anne leaned forward. "Charles," she said firmly, "you taught him this. The crown must come first." Silence filled the room again. Then Charles exhaled and said quietly, "You have my support, not because I want this, but because I trust your judgment." That was it. The decision was sealed. The statement would go live the next morning, 7:48 a.m. exactly. When the meeting ended, William stayed behind, alone. The room was silent except for the ticking clock. He looked down at the paper that would change everything and whispered, "So be it." The next morning, it went live. And in California at 4:48 a.m., Harry's phone buzzed. He blinked at the screen, read the words once, then again. His brother. His brother had written this. He sat in the dark for a long time before showing Meghan. Her reaction wasn't rage, it was shock. The finality of it. She'd prepared herself for many things, but not this. Not the end of ambiguity, because until now, she'd always had that small window, the maybe someday. William's statement erased that window completely. In London, palace staff were already answering hundreds of calls. Journalists kept asking, could this ever change? The answer was the same every time. No, it's final. William carried on with his duties that morning. Calm, polite, composed. People who saw him said he didn't look angry or victorious, just resolved. Catherine, meanwhile, seemed lighter, almost relieved. The endless cycles of coordinated negativity, the constant waiting for the next hit piece, all of it stopped mattering. There was clarity now. Anne, when asked for comment, smiled faintly and said, "The statement speaks for itself." Charles spent the morning in quiet meetings. Those close to him said he looked deeply sad, not angry, not bitter, just a father who'd accepted that the son he loved had chosen a path he couldn't follow. British media mostly praised William, calling his statement the clarity the monarchy needed. Even U.S. outlets, divided as they were, admitted the decision was monumental. By midday, the palace made it official. No further statements will be issued. The matter was closed. But what did this mean for Meghan? Practically, it changed everything. No royal coordination, no palace protection, no royal event appearances, even for her children's milestones. Every brand deal, every partnership that hinted at royal ties, suddenly needed reevaluation, because that royal link was now severed forever. And the biggest loss? Narrative control. Until now, Meghan could frame her story around possible reconciliation. William took that away. His statement, signed with his name, became the historical record. No more maybes. No more someday. She came into the royal family hoping to modernize it, to bring change, light, inclusion. But the monarchy wasn't interested in being redefined. It saw her push for modernity as disruption, not progress. Two visions collided, and one of them had to break. Meghan refused to bend, the monarchy refused to yield, and William, standing at its center, just made the final call. The institution stands. Now Meghan's future belongs entirely to her, free from palace oversight, but also free from its protection. Freedom, yes, but with a price. And maybe that's what she always wanted, a life entirely her own. For William, it wasn't vengeance, it was peace. Peace for Catherine, for their children, for the stability of the crown. He didn't do it to punish, he did it to stop the bleeding, to stop the endless guessing, the endless hurt. Because sometimes, even love can't coexist with duty. That's what leadership demands, choosing stability over sentiment, truth over illusion, clarity over chaos. December 2nd, 7:48 a.m. That moment will be remembered for decades. The second William confirmed what everyone had silently feared. Some doors never reopen. And now, everyone, Meghan, Harry, Charles, Catherine, even the world, has to live with that truth. Sometimes endings aren't cruel, they're just necessary.